Each of us who have positions of influence or authority in our communities have a responsibility to share our opinions.
Sometimes just by raising questions, you can change the discourse.
We don't have enough women's voices in the media and women's voices in the conversation.
I first met Katie Ornstein at a meeting for Women Moving Millions, and she did a short several-hour session with the membership, and I was blown away, so impressed by the need that each of us had who were out giving speeches and actually being leaders in the world, and how little prepared we were to say, I am so-and-so and I am the expert in. And how that is so powerful in being able to actually have those opinions matter in the work to try to change the world.
I am the Executive Director of Greater Tucson Leadership.
Founder and CEO of Commonwealth Institute International.
I'm a professor of Middle Eastern Studies, graphic design, and science.
African American community.
For-profit institutions.
Early childhood education.
Early interactions.
The human dimensions of climate change.
And I am an expert in high-impact collaborative philanthropy.
Our fellows are a mixed group of academics and community leaders, which makes for really interesting interactions and sharing of skills and knowledge and experience.
I wrote 2 op-eds right around the time of the Winter Olympics because I'm a former Olympian. The impact of the piece was surprising in that many of the people I heard back from were men, saying it's about time, I agree women's sports need to have more parity.
Or both Jill and Elise's ones in The Guardian because they were about things happening right that day, right that week. With Jill's about the anti-gay bill. And you were part of the conversation. And then the bill got vetoed like 2 days later.
I just moved to Arizona, and I came from New York, where it was legal for me to be married to my lesbian partner. And I moved to a state where that was not only not allowed, but scorned. So when that legislation came up, which essentially was an anti-gay discriminatory Senate bill, I just felt on a personal level I wanted to act. In some way, I felt like it was something I could do for my new state. I think that the vetoing of SB 1062, and maybe even more so, the productive debate that it motivated, is important for the whole country.
I did love Mindy's piece in the LA Times. And that's really personal because I see so many of my friends now trying to care for their aging parents and just in agony about moving their parents into assisted living or into hospices and just wishing that home care was available for them.
Oh, it had a tremendous effect. First of all, it's very exciting because I was in LA, just north of LA in Santa Barbara, on the day that it was published. And I was actually at a scientific conference where we were discussing the value of a certain scientific thing we wanted to get out there. And people literally opened up the paper and saw it was positioned extremely prominently in the LA Times. It was, front and center, large font article. And so it immediately raised my status within this conference. And I started to get calls, different funders, commercial insurers, accountable care organizations, health plans. These are the people that we were trying to get the message across to who started contacting me directly. There's probably hundreds of thousands of people, old people who are in their homes who would benefit from this right now.
I have cited the work of 2 other fellows. Daisy Jenkins has for a long time been working on issues of racial disparity and discrimination.
To date, I've written 4 op-eds, and I'm working on my 5th. I've been able to galvanize people that I would not have been able to reach previously to become engaged in local public school issues.
There was a tremendous reaction.
It prompted the newspaper to launch an investigation.
I feel that I have a duty and actually an obligation to share my knowledge, the expertise that I've gained, the experiences with the public, because it gives a perspective that's often not heard.
People need to see scientists as human beings, and that for those of us who have worked on these issues for decades and can see the risks and the damage that's being caused by environmental degradation. If scientists use their personal voice more, it might make a difference. That when we try to be too neutral and academic, people don't really understand what we're trying to say.
One of the things about the Public Voices Fellowship is we're working with some of the most brilliant minds in the nation, but so much of that conversation is locked. And so one of the endeavors of what we're all doing together is to invest in that brain power, much of which is absent from the public conversation. What could we do, and what would be the return to society if we could invest in all those missing voices and missing ideas?
What I love about the Tucson Fellowship is it really is a community project. It was bringing activists and academics, that mix between having it be perfect and publishable to wanting to end sex trafficking tomorrow morning. It's a great mix, and I think it's a great model for communities.
If you want to make a difference, you often have to take a position.
The danger of people not sharing their knowledge is that if you don't say what you think, other people fill in the blanks for you.